Daylight breaks over the ridge. The hounds strike. No crowds, no cameras, just a track and the hounds that bring the story to life. That's what this show's about. Dogs, dirt roads, early mornings, and the people who live it. This is Creekside Chronicles. Hounds, hunting, and heritage. I am your host, Heath Hyatt, houndsman, hunter, and a lifelong student of the outdoors. Here, we chase more than game. We chase knowledge about hounds, hunting, and living the outdoor life the right way. From bear country to back roads, this is where the hunt meets heart, and every story runs a different trail. So pull up your chair by the creek, leash up your best hound, and let's get after it together. Performance starts in the feed. Inukshuk's high-fat content fuels long runs and hard hunts, giving dogs the steady energy they need, while quality protein supports faster recovery after the work is done. That's why I trust Inukshuk dog food. Packed with energy and nutrition dogs need to go further, run harder, and recover stronger. If you want extreme performance, you can look them up at Inukshuk Professional Dog Food or CoreyNutrition.com. Welcome back, crew. Are y'all ready to get this week's episode started? If you are, you know what's going on. We're going to talk about everything from the woods to the water. And if you've been listening along, like I know you have, you're a part of the Creekside crew. So get that chair out. I'm going to throw another log on the fire. And I can't wait to get this week's episode started. We are 2 weeks into our training season. Training camp. That's what we're going to call it, training camp. So if you see that posted, you know what we're doing. It's training camp. This week has absolutely kicked my butt. And what I mean is, between scheduling at work, which means obligations, I have to pay to play, right? Pay to play, kind of like the name, image, and likeness. I just don't make enough money. That's for sure. But I've had some obligations at work, so I had to go to a couple classes this week. I actually had to teach, which I really, really enjoy. I love teaching the canine part of the academy. And the heat. So my goal was to hunt in the evenings. If my mornings are already preloaded with scheduling obligations, I was going to give my dogs a couple days break. So I give them off Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. I was going to go Tuesday evening, and it was just too hot. I mean, the heat index, and when I talk about heat index, everybody that's followed along, it's when you take the temperature and the humidity and you add it together. It was up in the mid 160s. And I'm just like, I can't do it. So Wednesday was really not an option because I had to, when I'm teaching, I usually don't get out of class till 5:30. Time I get home, it's an hour drive home. It just wasn't a good day. So Thursday and Friday, I needed to be at work for other obligations. I had a couple of meetings and some Zoom meetings on top of that. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to hunt Thursday evening, Friday evening, and Saturday evening. And then Sunday, I'll either take off or I'll flip back. None of that worked out. Absolutely none of it. I ended up hunting Wednesday morning, and that was one of the longest races that I remember being a part of for a good while. Now, I've had those type of races before, but holy tamale. Struck a track. I went early too, so I could get out of the woods and get to class. So I went early. I had my dogs down at like 5:45. And just for the guys that aren't in Virginia, you can't start hunting until 4 o'clock. Well, it takes me an hour to drive to where I hunt. So I got up a little after 4. I was on the mountain 15 after 5ish and was already hunting. So I struck pretty hot, turned the dogs down. They caught immediately. And I mean, they're just walking and walking, baying and walking and baying and walking. And I've come to realize that I know you can hunt at night. We can hunt up until 10 o'clock at night, and I can start at 4 o'clock in the morning. There are places that I do not want to go with a light on my head, crawling through the laurel and the brush and the cutovers. I just, after last Friday's hunt, and I told you about that, like some of the nastiest, roughest places, a mile and a half from anywhere. I don't enjoy that. So the dogs are walking and baying and walking and baying, and it's way before daylight. And I'm like, just get daylight. Just get daylight. Well, they walked the thing all the way up to the top of the mountain, and I don't know what happened, but the dogs split. Well, they didn't split. Everybody, well, they did. Everybody kind of like, And one of my young dogs, Chief, who we talked about last week, who had trained his first bear by himself, ended up breaking out of that. And he come over on the north. So, and it's foggy. It's foggy. It's not daylight. Your high beams can't see, but about 30 foot in front of you. So I can hear him coming. And I jump out of the truck and I put my headlamp on, my Cajun Outdoors. That's what I've got. And I turn my red light on and I'm standing there and I'm waiting for it to pop out. Well, it gets about 100 and, I don't know, 30, 40 yards. And then it turns and it starts paralleling the road back up where I came from. And I'm like, okay. So I jump back in the truck, crank her down in reverse, and I'm going back up the mountain, just kind of paralleling it. And then it turns and it goes over like it's going to pull back to the top. And it does. It ends up pulling back to the top. And it literally parallels the road for half to 3/4 of the mile over on the other side. Well, then Chief drops out in the road. And I want to get to this here in a little bit. So just put a pin in that right there, because we're going to come back to it. He drops out in the road. We pack some more dogs. 2 of my other dogs had ended up coming through, and they ended up coming through right where he did. They were just a little bit behind. I honestly think the bear just scattered them, and that's what took place. But so my buddies were with me. They ended up packing it, and it gets into some big country. And they run this thing. I think I looked it up on my GPS from where we packed, and we ended up catching some of the dogs off at the next available area. And there was a reason why. They had crossed a road. One of the older dogs had got out in front and made a big circle. The younger dogs had come in behind, and so on and so forth. So we were trying to get everything caught up and back to the front. But from where we packed right there down to where we caught them at the next crossing was a little over 6 miles, 6.5 miles. So the older dog made a loop in there in a timber cut, and it's thick, and there's a lot of blow down timber in it, or down timber in it. He comes back out. We get everything caught up, so we go back, and I mean, after a while, it ends up crossing right below where I had originally struck it. So we pack it back up. We thought we had got up on it pretty good, but we didn't. The thing makes a little bit wider loop, goes back over on the north, drops off the north, crosses another road. We turn it, it crosses another road. We repack it, and then it pulls a pretty good, I'm going to say a little mountain. It pulls it and drops off the other side of it. And I'm literally sitting there and I watch the bear come out in the road. So we repack it there. We catch the back dogs because at this point, they're 250 to 400 scattered out. We start catching them up, and the dogs that we had packed right there ended up treeing it like 2 miles later. This race was well over 15. I'm going to say it was 18 to 20. And the reason I can't give you the exact data is because picking up, dropping out, and picking up, dropping out. But anyway, the reason we did that, and I typically don't care to do that, but it was because we were so far behind. But in to that, like, I've got to go teach. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm pushing the envelope. And of course, everybody's like, we'll get your dogs. Don't worry about it. I hate to put them in that situation. I hate to leave my dogs and have somebody else have to chase them down or run them down or walk in and get them. So I ended up catching mine up and being done just because of the circumstances. So I've had Friday's race, which I kind of told you about in the last podcast, and this race was long, and this one was extremely long. And this wasn't like a super small bear, probably 150, could have been 175, a long lanky bear. But man, oh man, it was horrible. Like, holy cow. So I only got to hunt one day. I tell you all this to tell you, I got to hunt one day, and the heat in the evenings has been unbearable. In fact, I wanted to hunt, was it Thursday? Yeah, I wanted to hunt Thursday and actually had a heat warning. And I'm like, Heath, that's not smart. Even if I just take a couple dogs and rode them, again, it's an hour drive over, an hour drive back. I just made a decision not to. So this week has been horrible for hunting schedule. And when I look at the last couple years' data that I keep, 16 days, 15 days in August, I'm literally looking at the same amount of days. And I'm trying very hard to get pushed to 20. I'd like to get 20 days in. I'd like to get 20 days in. So yeah, it's a challenge. And if anybody can hunt every day of the week, bless you. Because with work and other obligations, it's impossible for me. And I love to hunt. There's no other place that I would rather be than in the woods with my dogs, period. And I just cannot make it happen. So last week, I'm going to back up a little bit. Last week, I noticed that 2 of my dogs, my younger dogs, aren't holding weight like I think they should. And yes, I'm taking those every day. Those are the dogs that I'm hunting every day. They're still healthy. Don't get me wrong. But I ended up breaking open a bag of the 32-32 and up their food intake a little bit. I want to keep just a little bit more weight on them, and instead of adding extra cups to the 30-25, I'm using the 32-32. So I opened a bag of it and I'm feeding it to 2 dogs. And I'm still not seeing the results I want, but I'm hunting those dogs, and those dogs are on those type of races. And like I said, I hunted most every day last week. I took Sunday off. So just when you guys see stuff like that, maybe, I don't know, are you thinking, all right, I need to change something up, or are we just adding more food, or are we putting some supplements in there? There's a lot of things you can do to try to get that weight on them, to get it back on them. And when I say that, like I said, I don't want my dogs fat by any means. We've talked about how that works with the heat and stuff like that. You want your dogs in really good running shape, which means you should be able, when they're breathing in and out, you should be able to count the last 3 ribs. I don't like my dogs' hip bones showing, and that's my problem with these. their hips are showing just a little bit. And if you can lay 3 fingers down in between those hips and there's still some mass in there, you're okay. And by a veterinarian chart, that's acceptable. But it's just a little bit more than I want. So I broke out to 32. Now, let's go back to Chief, the young dogs. And if you guys know me and have seen me and talked to me, my hair is gray. And I think I'm going to contribute that to the amount of young dogs that I continue to hunt and challenge myself. I'll call it a challenge. I challenge myself with. So one of the things that I noticed the other day when he brought that bear across the road by himself and we pulled up on him, it confused him. He kind of run around. He was like, oh, okay. So he actually run and jumped up on my truck. And I'm like, hey, whoa, dude, I need you to get back down and go on. And as soon as we got another dog out and put in, he went on about it. So that bothered me. But, we're in the thick of it. We're packing dogs. We're running bear. So I just let it go. But on the drive home that day, I'm trying to process, like, why? Like, I expect my dogs, when their feet hit the road, I need their back feet to hit the middle of the road and their front feet to be going across into the wood line on the other side. That's what my expectations are. Are those realistic expectations? Well, for a seasoned dog that has seen that type of scenario before, absolutely. He knows we just pulling up to either give him some help or we're there to be a cheerleader, right? But for a dog that's never seen that before, and he hasn't, where I just pulled up on him by himself, he was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm done. And he wasn't done. And then you ask yourself about the drive. Does that dog have the drive that I'm looking for? Like, no matter what's going on, is he going to continue on? Like, I don't like that. So I go back and I start looking at some dogs past. And I go all the way back to my Ring dog. Ring was a type of dog that was a little hard-headed. And if you tried to catch him in the road, he'd run around you and keep going. And then Spook. Spook is absolutely like the same. But when Spook was a younger dog, in his first 2 or 3 encounters like that, he was confused too. And I had to remind myself that it's just a phase, and I'm not gonna correct him. I'm not gonna cause a big scene about it. In fact, I'm gonna do a whole lot of things like I do with my canine, my canine training. I'm just going to ignore him and not say a whole lot to him. Maybe give him a little bit of direction, like, hey, let's get in here. And hopefully after the next couple of times he actually sees that scenario, he's like, I got this. Like, truck can pull up, but I'm going on. So young dogs causing gray hair, they will do it. They will absolutely do it. And then you get into, let's go further into that race. We had an older dog that has seen a lot of those things, and he ended up being out front. And we have to tell ourselves that age plays a part in it. When I start my young dogs in the law enforcement side, I always tell my handlers, next year you're going to have a little bit different dog. Like, next year your dog's going to be a little bit more seasoned. He's going to have some deployments under his belt, and those things will just kind of come naturally. But do we actually tell ourselves that in the hunting community, in the hunting world? How experience plays such a big factor. And I'm going to go back to last week, the end of last week's podcast, when we say you're not hunting the same dog that you were last year. Again, I got to give that credit completely to Jarrett Moss. It's not mine. With your seasoned dogs, you can pretty much lay them up, get them out 6-8 months later, unsnap them, and pretty much have the same type of dog. You just got to knock the rust off of them, right? They've been there, they've done that. They're 5 seasons in, 4 seasons in, 6 seasons in. But with the younger dogs that haven't had some of these experiences, there's a bigger discrepancy in their behavior or their consistency. And consistency is what we're all thriving for. I want my dog to do the same thing day in and day out, which is be productive, right? I want him to strike, trail, run, catch, tree, however you want to put it. That's what I want my dog to do. And with the younger dogs that I'm hunting, and I'm just using Chief for an example, like he's the guinea pig right now. He's doing a lot of things good. He's making improvement. And I won't say leaps and bounds, but he's made some really good improvements. But I have to remind myself when I see what I seen the other day, like, slow your roll just a little bit, Heath. It's okay. Give him 2 or 3 times of that. See how he progresses. See if he progresses. See if it becomes an issue. And then I can tweak or change what I'm doing. And maybe I don't have to do nothing but give him the opportunities to figure it out. When we talk about patience, keep giving him the opportunities to figure it out. And that's my goal with him right now. Like I said, he's making improvement. He's been consistent at his improvement. So I'm going to give him those opportunities. And I'm going to continue to be patient, hopefully watch him grow and enjoy the hound that he's turning into. And I'm just using him. Like, I've got a couple more that make me want to pull my hair out. What little bit of hair I have left, I'll tell you. I've nicknamed one of my dogs, the one that I told you opens all the time. I've named her SS, Super Striker. If there was that many bear in the woods where I hunt, I don't know how you could get around without catching 4 or 5 a day. But I have come to the conclusion, and I'm going to continue to work on it. I think she's opening some of those halfway, just them barks are, I'm jittery and I don't know what to do with myself. I need down. And I've never really had a dog that's like that. That's that and I'll just say it, that mouthy. I've never had a dog that leaks, and that's what we call it in the canine world. When a dog's whimpering and whining, when you set him up for a scenario, you're getting ready to turn him loose on an apprehension, he's, that's leaking. Same thing I think she's doing. She's leaking. So moving forward with her, I feel like I am going to, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to give her opportunity to learn that leaking is going to get me nowhere. And when I give a good true strike, that's when the magic happens, right? And I may do some correcting, but I'm also, I'm going to repeat this. She is a nice, really quick strike dog. So I don't want to back up on a correction for the wrong thing. So I'm going to handle it a little bit differently. I'm hoping that a little age and a little more experience and a little realization for her that that's not getting me what I need. When I do this, this is where I get what I want. So that's how I'm going to do with her moving forward. All right, for the last little bit of the podcast, we're going to get into some dog training. So I was listening to HXP this past week, and Chris Powell was talking about recall. If you go back and listen to his podcast, it's about halfway through it. It's really good. It's the one that was based in, it's talking about, I think the title of it was Wolves or something. And man, he lays it out as far as like your recall. There's 1,000 ways to train a dog, right? It's just what method works for you in that particular situation. But he lays out the basics of a recall. And you can use that method, and it's tried and true. But I'm going to give you some stuff that's a little bit more unconventional, right? Because I like to toy and tinker, and I see how things work. I start prepping my recall is either as soon as I get the dog, because if I get a pup like Zeke, I didn't get Zeke until he was 8, maybe 10 weeks old. I can't remember, maybe 8 weeks old. And I tell you how I do this. And I do this with all of my dogs, whether it's a police dog, whether it's a hound, whether it is a couch potato. And I can't stress it enough. I don't care what obedience that you put on a dog, whether it's 5-star, everything you want to do, or one thing. That one thing should be a really solid recall. And even my detection guys who only do detection, have their dogs on a lead, dogs are really never off lead. That's the one thing that we harp on. You got to have a solid recall. What happens if that lead, let's say you have an equipment malfunction. Let's say that lead snaps during a deployment. Dog gets off lead, you're on the side of an interstate or a busy highway or a roadway. Like, you can't have your dog running through traffic. That dog's got to be able to recall. He's got to be able to come back and do what you're asking him to do. It is the most important thing I feel like you can have in any type of dog is a recall. I'm just laying that out there. If you don't teach anything, a recall should be it. So Chris lays out one of the basic methods. He gets into detail with it. Go catch it. Go listen to it, and you can do that. You can do that method, and it worked. Like I said, it's tried and true. Thousands and thousands and thousands of dog owners, from the bird dog world to the hound world to the pet world to the whatever you want, have used that method and have been successful with it. So it works. But what I like to do is I like to start my dogs the day I get them. If it's my puppies that I'm raising, still the same principle. It's just I get a little earlier start because I have my hands on them from the time they start eating. But my dogs never, how do I say that? Because that's not completely accurate. My dog gets fed in the same place every day, so, which is in their pen. I'm not chasing my dogs around and running them down and causing them to be spooky, or like they don't want to go back to the pen because they know Dad's going to put me up, and I'd rather be outside running around and in a 10x10 kennel. A whole lot of things go into that. But my dogs get fed in the pen daily. And when I call for them, food comes with it. So we're doing some basic classical conditioning. Okay. The Pavlov, the dinner bell rings, the dogs salivate. After that happens, the next thing in line is food. It's the exact same thing. I'm doing that with my pups or the dogs that I get immediately. Food, 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 food. I holler, I whistle, whatever it is, boom, boom, boom. Every time they hear me, they get that positive association. So with Zeke, and I'll post some videos of this. And guys, I haven't forgot about the scent laying. I've got a little sidetracked, and now the season's in, I'm spending more of my time in the woods than I am doing some videos for that. So I'm sorry, but I promise I will put it up. So what I like to do, and I scatter food. You've seen it on my reels with the scent drags. I'll take a handful of food and I'll just kind of whistle, and I'll throw it out in the yard, and he comes over and he's literally searching for it, and so on and so forth. That's the same principle with the recall. When I whistle, he comes, I throw him a few treats. I mean, like I said, 10, 12, 15 kibbles, like just pieces of food. and he comes to it. So I'm reinforcing that behavior, and I'm doing it not in the pen, I'm doing it out in the yard whenever I'm doing something. So what I'm going to transition to, so Zeke's getting ready to turn 6, so 6 months old. He's getting ready to turn 6 months old. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put his tracking collar down on the ground. Now, I can put this around the bowl in his pen, or I can put it out in the yard. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to start the beep, right? Beep, 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 beep. And when that beep happens and I see him cock his head, because that's the first thing he's going to do, is be like, oh, what was that? I'm going to throw the kibble, handful of kibble, around the tracking collar. And as he goes to eat it, I'll put another couple beeps in there, tones, whatever you want to call it. Beep, 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 beep. If I see that it spooks him, I'll back up and only do it when I throw. And after a couple of days of him realizing, hey, when I hear that beep, I get food, he will phase out of that shyness if that's what he does. I don't know what he'll do. In fact, the first day that I do it, I'll film it and I'll post a reel on it. And then if I want to put the collar around the bowl when I put him up in the evenings, I can do the same thing. Beep, beep, beep. Pour food in the bowl while he's eating, a couple beeps. So I'm already pre-training the tone, and the tone is associated with food. Food is a pleasant reward, and it makes some of the training later on for me on the recall easier. But I've already done 2 stages of it. Like when I holler for him, he's usually on the porch on the back deck in the evenings. When I go to put him up at dark, he's usually laying on the back deck. I come out the basement door, I stick my head around the side of the corner of the house. I'm like, all right, Zeke, let's go. And I whistle. And before I can get to his pen, which literally is 25 foot, 30 foot behind my basement door, he's in it standing there waiting. And he's not only standing, he's sitting, because I want him to sit and be calm. But I've done that with food. He's sitting there waiting on me to put his food in the bowl. Like, I'm not having to beg him. I'm not having to chase him. I'm not having to continuously holler for him. And I want to preface this too. There's low stimulation. There's no distractions. It's late in the evening. Nobody's outside running around. Like, there's nothing going on. It's very low stimulation for him. And when I say stimulation, I mean there's nothing there that's holding his attention other than the food. That's important, because when we get into the main steps of recall, the dog's got to be able to recall with distractions. So I will start that phase of it, and then when I throw it in the yard and I whistle for him and he comes running and he starts searching for the food, I'm doing the same thing. And then now that I'm putting the beep with it, I'm pre-prefacing, like, all right, so when you hear the tone, that's gonna start with a reward, and then the reward's going to end up having to come to me to get the reward. So I'm going to change it as the process goes further along. Okay? So that's just the beginning. That's how we do it. That's how I'm going to start it. Like I said, there's 1,000 ways to do this. Pick what works for you. Do what you enjoy doing. Do it before season. Do it before you take that dog out and you put him in a pack of dogs and the dog's looking around like, what in the world is going on, right? It's harder to recall a dog when all this commotion's going on, because they're trying to process what they're seeing and hearing while you're hollering at them, trying to get them to come back. So 5 minutes a day. If you do 5 minutes a day, you're doing more than 90% of the people that actually hunt hounds. 5 minutes a day. That's all it takes. He's 6 months old. I'm in no rush to get him in the woods. And I know that there's people that have pups out at 4 and 5 and 6 months old. Absolutely. And they work out well and they do good. That's just not me. I got enough dogs to hunt without him. And I will get him out a couple times this year. Absolutely, we'll get him out. I'm just not there. Getting him loading on the tailgate, working on the recall, on leading, all the things that I need to get established before we get him in the woods. We're working on them daily. So, hope you enjoyed that one. That's going to be a wrap for this week's episode of Creekside Chronicles. We appreciate you spending your time with us, whether you're in the truck, in the woods, or sitting by the creek just listening along. Thank you for walking this trail with us. And we got to say thank you to W Supply for hosting the podcast and supporting everything we do. Be sure to check them out and go to wsupply.com for all your hound hunting needs. Until next time, keep your dogs fed right, those leads tight, boots muddy, and we'll see you at the tree.
Tailgate drops before the light, coolers packed and the rig sitting right, tracking collars charged, beeping green, boots in the bed and the rifle's clean. Dog box rattling, engines hum, we're chasing bear till the day is done. Old ring barking like he knows what's near, nose to the wind, tail full of cheer. From the Virginia mountains to the Carolina clay, we're burning fuel and miles each day. Every turn's another tale, through mountain mist and paper trails. We see the sunset red in Tennessee, rise through the fog in old WV. North Carolina's pines echo loud with the cry of a hard-run hound. New York forest, Maine's deep snow, Vermont valleys where the black bears go. Truck keeps rolling, wheels don't care. We're chasing daylight, chasing bear. Rest stops few, the roads are long, but the fire in our hearts still burns strong. Wisconsin mornings cutting crisp and clear, Canada's wildwoods drawing near. Still got states we ain't run, but that hound dog fever won't let us quit. We see the sunset red in Tennessee, rise through the fog in old WV. North Carolina's pines echo loud with the cry of a hard-run hound. New York frost, Maine's deep snow, Vermont valleys where the black bears go. Truck keeps rolling, wheels don't care. We're chasing daylight, chasing bear. Gas station coffee, Alpha XL on the dash. Another back road, another bear track. Friends made fast and stories told slow, under stars where only hunters go. We see the sunrise gold in Canadian air, and it sets on a trail down in Appalachia. Packing steel and leather, grit and care, we're built for the road and chasing bear. So load the dogs and slam the gate, there's a trail ahead, we won't be late. From dawn to dusk, we're always there, chasing daylight, chasing them bears.